Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Dalton Gentry, and we are here for day 2 of Litmas. And as you may have figured out if you watched the previous video from yesterday from me, I suck. Today is not the best book that I've read. It's the best writer that I've read for the first time. So my apologies, because I'm absolutely terrible at videos and planning things, but we are flying solo with Litmas this year, so it's a little bit different, and I should have had that note in front of me. But whatever, this is day 2. Let's talk about writers. We've read a few really great writers this year. We've also read a few really bad writers this year. And when I was sitting here trying to think, who was the best writer I was exposed to for the first time, I thought a little bit about some personal reading I did. I've been reading some Michael Pollan. If you're familiar, he's the one who wrote the How to Change Your Mind book that I've been reading, the nonfiction. And I considered that might be it. I really wanted to talk about Shirley Jackson, but to be fair, I've read Shirley Jackson in the past. I have read The Lottery, whether I want to admit that or not. So I think this year, for me, the best writer that I've read for the first time, I just don't think you can go wrong with this one here. Faulkner. We read As I Lay Dying for the first time this year, and that book is definitely in my top 5 now of just wonderful pieces of literature that I've been exposed to. As I Lay Dying is absolutely gorgeous, and dare I say it may make my book of the year. But we also read That Evening Sun, or That Evening Sun Go Down, depending on the translation that you have, by Faulkner. And for a short story, equally as impressive as the novel. And that's very rare when you get a good writer who can handle multiple facets. We talk about it all the time. Hemingway was great with the short story, struggled with the novel. Fitzgerald, on the other hand, amazing novelist, can't write a short story for shit. So it's really interesting to find a writer who can bridge the gap between those two, and can tackle a full-scale novel like As I Lay Dying, which, if you haven't read yet, I don't know what you're doing with your life. That is one you need to absolutely get now. It's just fantastic. And he can also do something with That Evening Sun Goes Down, that is equally impressive. A different style of writing, but still just as impactful. One thing I always say about good literature is a good book, a good short story, it has to make you hurt. And maybe it's fair to say, you should feel something when you read a good piece of literature. But I am one to say that a good writer will make you hurt. And if As I Lay Dying does not hurt you, I'm afraid you may already be dead. Because that is the most grueling, terrible book that I've ever read. And just to put yourself in those characters' place, put yourself in the place of the character, it's just amazing what these people go through and their trials and tribulations throughout the novel and how they continue to push forward. And then, spoilers, to wrap it up in a nice, pretty little bowl here, to come to find out in the end that it's a Shakespearean comedy more than anything, because we're just going to repeat the same process, that nothing's going to change, we suffered for nothing, and it's supposed to be a good, happy ending. That isn't happy at all. That is masterful. Not to mention just his writing style alone is incredibly detailed. This is stream of consciousness style writing, where we're getting multiple perspectives from multiple characters, and each one has their own very individual voice. Each one has their individual delivery style that we're given, and each character feels alive. At no point are we saying, oh, well, this is just Faulkner writing. We're absolutely reading into this family, and we are feeling what they're feeling, and we're experiencing what they're experiencing for the first time. And I think to do something at that caliber is masterful. In That Evening Sun Goes Down, even that, as difficult as that read was, and not at it's very wordy and hard to get through, it's just a painful read. It's very uncomfortable, but it's uncomfortable for the point of being uncomfortable, which is incredible to do. It addresses a lot of very important issues, and it does so in a very tactful way that makes the reader think. And if you can make your audience think and question, then you're really succeeding as a writer. And that is why William Faulkner is the best writer that I've experienced this year, day 2 of Litmas. So if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the like button down below, subscribe to this video, or this channel, whatever you want to call it as well. We do always appreciate that. And let's make sure we get those Litmas videos up. This is day 2, still early in the process, still plenty of time to join in if you haven't already. We have all of our Litmas prompts up on Instagram. We have them on Twitter as well. So if you'd like to follow us along, make sure you do so. And check over at our Litmas Announcement video as well if you need a little push in the right direction as to what we'd be talking about tomorrow. And I should do that as well, because I'm terrible at planning, so that is something I'm going to consider doing. Anyway, As I Lay Dying, definitely a great book. William Faulkner, definitely the best writer that I've read this year.